All right, so just a little video to talk about the thought process on how to deal with numbers when they are really big numbers like this. So the biggest thing I can tell you is don't go in order. See which number draws your eye. For me, that's usually the smallest number, or especially something that ends in 0, which happens to be both in this case. 140 is the smallest number here, and it ends in 0. I love when numbers end in 0 because that tells me that 10 goes into them, and it's going to be 10 times 14. It's going to be 10 times whatever is before the 0. Okay? So right away, I'm going to start checking these other numbers. 10 does not go into any of these guys, so that doesn't work. None of them end in a 0. 14 is kind of a big number to check, but I can break 10 down pretty easily into 5 times 2. And I can break 14 down pretty easily into 2 times 7. 5 is a pretty easy number to check also, because every number that 5 goes into nicely has to end in 5 or 0. So it works for this guy, but it doesn't work for this guy. So right away, I know 5 cannot be my greatest common factor. Next up are 2s. 2s are also really nice and easy to check because it just has to be an even number. It has to end in a 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, right? That's what an even number is. It can be split evenly into 2 parts. And since the first number here starts with a 5 and is odd, not only does 2 not work, but 4 can't work because 4 would be what those two multiply together to. So my last thing I can check is 7. And all I would do is I would go through these different numbers and I would divide by 7 and see if it works. And it does. 245 divided by 7 is 35. 249 divided by 7 is 42. 168 divided by 7 is 24. So that's kind of cool. That's a lot sneakier, kind of backwards thinking way to figure out what your GCF is. Okay. I am going to walk through the rest of this problem just because I think it would be really beneficial. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit here and give myself a little bit of space. Okay. So something to keep in mind, right? I got that GCF of 7 I'm dividing out, which tells me you do want to double check and see if there's any letters that they share as well. That would be part of your GCF. But A is only in 2, W is in 2, F is in 2B. Nope, yep, so there's no letters involved. So when I take out the 7 here, I'm going to be left with 35. Don't forget about your AW. That plus sign comes down. That 249 turns into that 42 with A and F. Then that minus sign. And then 140 I haven't divided by 7 because I broke it all the way down. So if you just take 140 and divide by 7, or you can multiply 5 times 2 times 2, and that's going to give you 20. And then I've got BW. I've got a minus sign, and I wrote too big. I always do. I'm sorry. 7 divided by 168 is going to give me 24. And then that B and F, I'll make them sneak in and fit there. Okay. So we've got this. Oh, I can zoom out a little bit even with that. Awesome. So we've got this, and then we can get into our grouping. Oh, I can't erase unless it's, what's going on here? All right. I might not be able to finish this problem because my iPad went crazy. So sorry about that. But the rest of it is worked out on our Jamboard, so feel free to go check it out on those slides.